The most terrifying flood in China's history is widely considered to be the 1931 China floods, also known as the 1931 Yangtze-Huai river floods. This catastrophic event is one of the deadliest natural disasters in recorded history, causing immense loss of life and widespread destruction. Here's an in-depth account of this devastating event. China's vast and varied landscape, coupled with its climate, makes it particularly prone to flooding. The Yangtze River, the longest river in Asia, and the Yellow River, often called the cradle of Chinese civilization, have both played crucial roles in China's history. However, they are also known as China's sorrow due to their propensity to flood. In the early 20th century, China was undergoing significant political and social changes. The fall of the Qing dynasty in 1912 and the subsequent establishment of the Republic of China led to political instability. By 1931, the country was still grappling with the aftereffects of civil wars and regional conflicts, making it ill-prepared to handle a disaster of this magnitude. The disaster began with an unusually harsh winter in 1930. The Yangtze River Basin experienced heavy snowfall, which accumulated significantly. When the spring thaw began, the melting snow contributed to higher than normal water levels in rivers and lakes across the region. As spring progressed, heavy rainfall compounded the situation. In the Yangtze and Huai River basins, precipitation was 20–30% above average. The region's complex network of rivers, lakes, and tributaries became engorged with water. The situation worsened dramatically in the summer. In July and August, a series of cyclones hit China, bringing torrential rains. The Yangtze River and its tributaries swelled to unprecedented levels. Additionally, the Yellow River and the Huai River basins were experiencing similar conditions. The combination of these factors created a perfect storm for a catastrophic flood. By late July, the Yangtze River had breached its banks in numerous places. The first major breach occurred near Wuhan, a key city located at the confluence of the Yangtze and Han rivers. The floodwaters inundated the city, submerging houses, streets, and farmlands. The floodwaters spread rapidly, affecting large swaths of central and eastern China. Entire towns and villages were submerged, and millions of people were displaced. The floodwaters carried with them a mix of silt, debris, and human and animal waste, creating a hazardous environment. Simultaneously, the Huai River, which flows parallel to the Yangtze to the north, was also experiencing record-breaking water levels. The river's dikes and levees, many of which were poorly maintained, gave way under the pressure. The resulting floods swept through the densely populated Anhui and Jiangsu provinces. To the north, the Yellow River, notorious for its flooding, also overflowed its banks. The river's sediment-heavy waters spread out across the North China Plain, devastating agricultural lands and displacing millions more people. Major cities like Wuhan, Nanjing, and Hankou were severely affected. In Wuhan, floodwaters reached depths of up to 6 meters in some areas. Residents took to boats to navigate the submerged streets, while others sought refuge on rooftops and in trees. The city's infrastructure was crippled, with railways, roads, and telegraph lines destroyed. The human toll of the 1931 floods was staggering. Estimates of the death toll vary widely, with conservative estimates placing it at around 1 million and more liberal estimates, suggesting as many as 4 million people lost their lives. The majority of these deaths were due to drowning, but disease, starvation, and exposure also claimed countless lives in the aftermath. Millions of people were displaced, forced to leave their homes and seek refuge on higher ground. Refugee camps sprang up, but conditions were dire. Food and clean water were in short supply, and sanitation was virtually non-existent. In the wake of the floods, diseases such as cholera, typhoid, and dysentery spread rapidly. The floodwaters had contaminated drinking water sources, and the crowded, unsanitary conditions in refugee camps provided a breeding ground for disease. Famine soon followed. The floods had destroyed vast areas of farmland, wiping out crops and livestock. With the agricultural infrastructure in ruins, food shortages became acute. Many people resorted to eating whatever they could find, including leaves, bark, and even dirt. The Chinese government, already weakened by internal strife and lacking resources, struggled to mount an effective response. The nationalist government led by Chiang Kai-shek attempted to coordinate relief efforts, but the scale of the disaster overwhelmed their capacity.